Hello, everybody. I am Bekir Adramen from CYPE Engineers from the International Technical Support Department and the Business Development Manager. Today we are going to see the structural software that we have, the main concrete structure software, which is CYPE. And we are going to see the new updates about the wind loading that they are implemented in Malaysia. Okay, so in starting, can someone confirm to me that you are seeing my screen perfectly? You can write to me in the chat. Everyone can write to me in the chat. I want to do this webinar on live, so everyone or everybody can ask me directly if you have any question. So write to me on the chat and I will see it and I will allow you to speak, to ask anything you want, okay? Okay, I think that everybody can see my screen for the moment and hearing me good. So let's start. In starting, I wanted to comment that those are the different normatives that we have implemented for the loads on structures, for example, for the seismic loads, for the wind, or for the timber structure. We have the Malaysian codes, the Euro Code 2 MSEN 1292 2010, the Malaysia, and we have implemented on the CYPE software, which is the software the software for the reinforced concrete design and analysis for the reinforced concrete buildings. We have implemented the new wind code, so we will see them. So I opened an example that is already done of this building, okay? Later, after showing you the different ways of putting the wind loading, I will show you the results and I will show you what we can do with CYPE. Here, after starting the software, the first thing that we do is introducing the different floors and groups, as you can see here. We can even put some elevations above the plan, okay? We put the different heights and automatically the elevations will be calculated. So those are very important for the wind loadings as well, okay? We can edit in the different groups and we can put the live and the dead loads, okay? We can group different floors to name them as groups. For example, here we have the 2 and the 2nd and the 3rd floor as one group, okay? And later, we move to the columns. We move to the creation of the columns. So of course, we can create them above DXF, DWG plans, above AutoCAD plans, or we can start the software with AutoCAD plan that it was already done and it was already have the layer for the columns, and then all the columns and exterior beams will be created automatically, okay? So we have different ways to start the edition of the building to make the project going very fast, okay? It helps a lot in the productivity. So here we have the different types of columns: reinforced concrete, steel, wood columns, composite sections, okay? We can even create our own shapes, as you can see here. Always put on mind that the shapes in the columns and the design of the building can be created depending to DXF, DWG, depending to an AutoCAD plan, which is here. Okay, as you can see here, I have my DXF with the different layers that was created. I can add a new DXF or DWG. Here we have different formats. Okay, and here from the same software, I can modify the origin point, the origin of the coordinates of the template. For example, the point 0, 0, 0 in the 3 axis. Okay, and I can like fix the scale depending to one known distance. For example, if I am sure that the distance from P9 to P10 here is 5, I put 5 here, I accept, and the scale of all the building will be adjusted automatically. So this is the way if you are going to use different plans for every floor. Okay, so let's move on and see the rest in very brief way. Okay, after presenting the different columns and floors and groups, we present the rest of the elements as the beams. Okay, we have different types of beams, flat beams, dropped beams. Every type have different families, as you can see here. Okay, we have lattice beams, we have beams with external fixity, we have pre-stressed beams, we even have foundation beams, okay, with different types that they are in contact with the soil, and we put the different characteristics of the soil, okay, etc. We have steel and wood beams. After presenting the beams, we present the different slabs, okay. Here for the slabs, we have joist floor slabs, okay, with all the different types. We put all the details for the slabs, hollow core slabs, composite slabs, okay. As you can see here, we can add all the parameters for the composite slabs, wafer slabs with the different types. We can choose if the form of it is lost or removable from here. We have the simple reinforced concrete slab, which is flat slab. We can choose here the depth of it and the parallel and the direction of the reinforcements. In creating those slabs, we click on a beam to select the direction, or we can select it by points. Here we have the mat foundations, the foundation slabs, okay, and we can just create slab, an imaginary one to define later. After creating the slabs, we have to create the different loads. So this way is creating the loads manually. We can create loads on the slabs, the one in yellow here, okay. We can create loads on beams, okay, linear loads on beams, or we can manually go to loads. We can choose to create the loads on point, line, or surface, on different elements. We can manually draw the loads. But today, the main point is the wind loading, okay. So going to the general data, in general, if we start the project, we started from this part, from the general data, okay. So we have here the Euro code for the Malaysian country, as you can see here, okay, for the different materials. And the new thing that the software automatically creates we have the possibility to create the wind and seismic loading, as you can see here. But we have European Union codes way, okay. We have a general method if we have already the values of the wind seismic, of the wind load, sorry. And we have now the Malaysian standards for the wind loading, which is MS 1553/2002, which is AMD 1/2013. Code of Practice on Wind Loading for Building Structure, Amendment 1, okay? So about here, the wind actions, we put the wind actions in the two directions, in X and in Y, of course, in the two directions, in the positive and the negative one. Okay. Here we have a small explanation in this help here. Okay. About the wind actions, the wind force Fw acting on structure for structural component may be determined directly by using expression 5.3. Okay. Here we have the expression where here the explanation of the different factors. Okay. For the calculation of the wind forces acting on the building, the following considerations are taken into account. The structural coefficient CS/CD is determined according to paragraph 631. Okay, so the force coefficient CF is established according to part 6.7. So here we have different details about the wind loading. I repeat that this part is for the automation of the wind loading in the building. So you feel this part, and later automatically all the wind loading will be filled automatically. We will see that. Okay. Here, of course, we have the tributary width is okay. By flow, we can choose it by flow. Okay, you can do it by flow. Here we have an explanation about it. Okay. We have the occupancy category. We have the category 1 for buildings and structures that represent low hazard to human life in the event of failure, such as agricultural facilities, temporary facilities, and minor storage facilities. Category 2 is for all the buildings and structures except those listed in category 1, 3, and 4. Let's go to category 3 to see it. Buildings and structures where the primary occupancy is 1, in which more than 300 people congregate in one area. Big like a big intensity of people in one area. Okay. And the category 4 is essential buildings and structures, hospital and medical facilities, fire and police stations, structures and equipment in civil defense, communication centers and facilities for emergency response, power stations and other emergency utilities, and defense shelters. Okay. Occupancy category. So basic wind speed. Okay. So we can go to this different basic wind speeds that we call VS. It's meters per second. Okay. And depending to the zone, if we click here in the map, we will have two different zones, the zone 1 and the zone 2. Okay. We have the VS, the wind speed, in the zone 1, 33.5 meters per second. Okay. And the zone 2, which is the coast zone, 32.5 meters per second. Okay. So here just you can check where is your part, where is your country. We even have some values for the different countries, as you see, for example, Chopin, Cameron Highlands, etc. We have different values. Okay. And the values here, the zone 1 and zone 2, there are basic wind speed. They are more general. Okay. Terrain category, we can choose it by direction. Okay. The direction of the wind can modify it here. At the 0 degrees, we have, that the wind go for 4 directions in general in the building. Okay. So at the 0 degrees, we can choose the terrain category. We're gonna see them. Let us see the different categories of the terrain. Here, the terrain category is about choose where the building is placed. We can by direction here. For example, we can choose different categories for one building, but in general we use single. Okay, because like the building in general is not that big, to separate it in different directions. But in a lot of cases, in some cases, we use bidirection. Okay. So here, the first category is the one is exposed open terrain with few or no obstructions. The second category is water surfaces, open terrain, grassland with few well scattered obstructions having height generally from 1.5 meters to 10 meters. Okay. The third is terrain with numerous closely spaced obstructions, 3 meters to 5 meters high, such as areas of suburban housing. Okay. And the fourth is terrain with numerous large height, 10 meters to 30 meters height, high ones, and closely spaced obstructions such as large city centers and well-developed industrial complexes. Okay, so those are the different categories to choose while configuring the wind's loading. Okay, so for example, here in the occupancy category, going back to it, let us choose the first category, basic one speed. Let us put 30 meters per second, or we can choose, for example, Kota Kinabalu. Okay, so it will be automatically filled 30.5. Okay. Okay, so here we can change the width depending to floor. As I said, going back just to summarize, okay, in every floor or in every group, we can change the width where the wind is going to hit, okay. And here, wind actions. Okay, so let us go back to the last part, which is land orography. Okay, those are some land options. If it's flat, ascending, as the photo here, descending, okay, from the other parts, or if it's a hill, okay, as you can see. So we're gonna choose the simplest one, which is flat. Okay, I'm going here to put two values, 1 and 1 on X and Y. Okay, and I'm gonna accept. So here we have the different loads, as you can see. If I click here, we have the wind in the different directions, in the 4 directions in the building. Here, if I go to additional load cases that the software puts, we can add load cases, the names of the loads. You can see here, if you remember, in editing the different floors, I edited live load and dead load, which is the self weight and dead load. We have here, we put it before the values, but automatically we have 2 load cases per defect for the building, the self weight of the materials and the dead load. We put them already on the on the edition of the different floors. Every floor have its live load and dead load. Okay, as you can see here, the live load automatically as well is done. The self weight is for the material, and here we can see a new one for different loads for the wind. Of course, we can add manually a new one. Okay, a new wind loading, as you can see here, W wind. We can add it manually. So in adding this load, we will see it here added manually. Okay, so in this case, we're not gonna need it. So we're gonna put them as the normative. So here, after, as I said before, the wind is coming from the 4 directions. Here we have the flat terrain. That's why I chose the flat. So it comes from here, from the 4 directions. In that case, I will analyze the project. Okay. Anyone have a question, please? If anyone have a question, just write it in the chat. And I will read it, and I will allow you, if someone want to talk, I will allow you, I will accept you, and we will discuss the point that you want to ask about, except the wind loading, except the updates that I am showing today on the software. You can ask me any part of the software about CYPE software. So the point here, the point today is showing the different ways of working in the building, showing the different results, and then having an idea, a good idea about the software, okay? So we go to results. As you can see here, after analyzing the project, later the software automatically give me all the details, give me all the parts that I want to modify, create automatically the different rebars and the reinforcements, as you can see here, okay, in all the floors. So all of these is created depending to the normatives, depending to the library of the materials, depending to the input and output here in the general data. As you can see here, we have the reinforced concrete options. So we have all the reinforced concrete options. We have a big amount of options and parameters to fill before analyzing the project, to analyze it correctly depending to what we need. Of course, here in the editing of the columns, for example, as you can see here, we have a big window for them, okay, with the checks, edit reinforcement. Here we have the dimensions of the column, the longitudinal reinforcement, the transversal reinforcement. We have the diameters of different columns, the spacing, okay. We can even modify the stirrups, as you can see here. And for every column or for every group of columns that we see here, because the software separate the columns depending to their types, okay. So here we have the group P1, P3, 5, 8, and 9, depending to the type of the column. We have here the combinations, okay. 1.35 self-weight plus 1.35 dead load plus 1.05 life load A plus 1.05 dead life load H plus 0.9 wind loading in the direction minus Y, wind loading minus Y, wind loading minus X. So we have here all the possible combinations. We can see them one by one, and we can see the results for that column, okay. We can see here all the combinations together, okay, to make it much more easier. We can always check the different checks. For example, here, on purpose, I wanted to do some errors on the columns. So you can see here all the different checks, okay. While editing the column, we can see the detailing of the column to change the stirrups, to change the rebars, to change everything. We can see the different forces that hit the column. For example, here the columns from the foundation to the roof. I can choose, for example, a simple load case, which is the wind and the direction axis. You see that the wind and the direction axis is hitting like that, okay, on minus X, on Y, okay. You can see that it's minus 0.03, minus 0.12, okay. Here, moving the cursor is like, it's moving and all, it's showing to you all the forces that you need. We can even see, we can even see combinations. And while editing the column, we can see, of course, the 3D view of this column to know exactly what we are editing, okay. The same for the beams, the same for the slabs. We can go to the beam editing. We have here the editing of the longitudinal, transversal reinforcements. We have the code checks, as always, okay. We have all the checks that we need. If we have something bad, it will not verify it from here, okay. And of course, we have the deformed shape. We can see now the deformed shape. We can see the structure. For example, in the scale of 200, okay, we can see the displacement, the effect of the wind on the building. Let me put the scale of 400, okay, and I even see it on animation. You see that the effect of the simple load case of the wind is very, very small, which is very normal. You can see the wind. Let me put it, for example, in the scale of 2000. Okay, I go here to the animation, and in the scale of 2000, I can see the wind in that direction. Exactly. I can change the direction, minus X, it will be in the other direction. It hits, so the wind in this case hit from this way, okay? So we can see the building, we have something not okay from here. So we can see the scale of 2000, it don't affect like that in the real other direction. You can see it from above. We can remove the structure, of course, to see it better. You see? So how the building is moving. And of course, in this, we cannot put and see simple load cases. We can see displacements with different combination. For example, I want to see the self weight plus dead load plus weight in the scale of 200. Let us decrease the scale, or 100, because here we move to the self weight and dead load, so we have some displacements. So we can see the displacements. Let me put the scale of 400, for example. Okay, and let us see the structure. And here we are. So here the combination of the different load cases with their values, of course, of the self weight is depending to the materials, the life load, the dead load, depending to what we put it in the different floors, and the wind loading is depending to the parameters that we feel. All of this will be combined. Okay. Even we have as you can see here, we have our analytical model. We can see here directly the different forces on columns and shears. Okay, we can even choose the wind loads as always. Okay, as you can see here, it's harder on the roof and until the foundation. And for the different in this case, we don't have a waffle slab, but we can consult here the counterflow. Okay. Let us see the different reports that we can get for the wind elements. Here I prepared just a report for the wind codes. Okay.
Hey, Bekir.
For the wind codes, we have here. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Can you hear me? No, I was saying that.
Hello, Vicente, very interesting. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Very interesting presentation. I just wanted to confirm that if everyone is able to listen properly, because I think there were a few. The internet was kind of slow a few minutes ago. But well, anyway, Bekir, I wanted to say like, what is the main features of this software of CYPE compared to the other softwares that most people in Malaysia are used to work with? I was sending in the chat a message and also some documents that you can download. But yeah, I would say that is that we automatically generate the drawings, reports, and so on. No, right? That is this part that you are showing now.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Vicente. Yes. So better than the other softwares, CYPE is the most productive software for the companies. In designing the buildings, I can show you like how fast, how how practice designing the different buildings, and especially in generating the different reports. As Vicente sent to you, you are going to see some reports that you can get automatically generate the drawings, the detailing of the elements, the detailing of the different frames, the detailing of the columns. You saw how I wanted to use this presentation to show you that I could modify the reinforcements on the columns and on the beams. The same for the slabs, the same for the foundations. Every time you are modifying, every time you are modifying the elements, you check them, you see them on 3D. Okay, here the detailing of the columns, for example, and let us see the detailing of the frames. Every time you are modifying, you consult in the meantime the 3D view of it, the forces, the detailing, the checks depending to the codes. Of course, you control the materials. You see how in one click I generated all the detailing here, for example, for the columns. Okay, here we have the diameters of the bars, the length. Here we have the different quantities, okay, that we can get also in the reports. Here you can see the type of the concrete, the formwork, the type of the steel area in general, how much steel kilogram per meter 3, the maximum size of aggregate, etc. So it's very, very fast software. It's very productive. Most of the companies that we have now in India, in Asia, they are using CYPE for their buildings. We have implemented the normatives here, so they chose to choose this software first because of its price. It's like not like the other software, very, very expensive, and you need to have, and you have to pay yearly, and you have to do such conditions, and you have to pay, for example, to use the cloud, you have to pay to use the architectural. No, we give the architectural parts for free. We give the cloud for free. You can share your projects, not only the 3D projects, you can share all the parts of your projects with the documents, with the results, with the drawings. We have here the BIMserver.center, as you can see here. So we, like, the thing with CYPE is very, very fast. That's
excuse me, David.
Yes.
Hello, Khaled.
Sorry. Yeah. Hey. Hi, Vicente. Hi, David. Sorry for interrupting you. If I'm not mistaken, just for our general understanding, so CYPE team doesn't charge any client for modeling software. Yeah, like for example, we have the CYPE architecture, which is equivalent to Revit, but nobody actually need to pay a single, let's say, a ringgit or a euro for that software. Am I right?
Yes, that's a very good question. No, we have all the modeling softwares, the architectural softwares for free. Anyone can download it directly. So he just creates a BIMserver.center account. He go to Google and write BIMserver.center. He go here to the store, and you can see here CYPE architecture. It's for architectural design. It's for free. The plugin OpenBeam Revit for free. He even have IFC Builder for free. We have a lot of softwares for free. OpenBeam construction system, so from the building to put the more technical parts and installation parts for free. OpenBeam site to put the building in his direction for free. OpenBeam analytical model for free. So we have a lot of free software. So CYPE don't charge the modeling part. We get paid only for the calculations, only for the results, only for the important part for the clients, of course. Here, for CYPE, for example, what we give? We give normatives, we give calculation engines, we give results, automatic results, we give modifications. So we charge for this, but the rest, no, of course, okay? As you can see here, we give automatically the drawings. So of course, if the company is going to pay and going to buy the software, it's going to search for something productive, for something to help them in their projects. Okay, so automatically he will get here the plans in DXFs, in DWGs, even in DXF, DWGs, even in PDF, and he will have all the reports in PDFs. For example, here, as I said, I was talking today about the wine loading. So here, all the results of the wine, you can see here that the reports are perfectly presented. He can export them to PDF. He can export them to Word. Okay. So like he get everything automatically. He can control his work. He can control his results. He can, as you can see here, we was controlling all the parts in the building. Depending to the norms, of course, CYPE software is a software which has 40 years old. So,
hey, Bekir.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
this is a very interesting point that you are talking about now, Khaled and you. Yeah, it's true. This is the 40-year anniversary of the company. That's also something very cool. We have activated the micros, okay, if anyone wants to say anything. And yeah, I think another difference between CYPE, for example, CYPE 3D or CYPE Stat and other programs, if you compare it to other programs, is that what you are saying, Khaled, that the modeling is free, the platform is totally free. You don't have to pay anything from this software. That is really good software. The software you see in the screen now, you can export to the cloud. And then you can store your projects there. You can show it to your clients. You can use augmented and virtual reality. This is not something that you have to pay or be so clever to do it. You just need your smartphone, download BIMserver.center application in your smartphone, and you will be able to use augmented reality. And this is a way you can use to convince new clients, get more projects. So we give you the usual way of working, like always, your CAD or BIM software in your computer, but we give you all this technology for free and forever. So this is something that all of you can use. Don't worry, don't be afraid about that. And like Bekir is showing now, you can export even your projects to the cloud, put it like open, and then other users will see your work. They can give you likes, they can share your projects, and you can even become number one in the ranking. This is something else. We have the feature contributions here, but also the ranking, and you can be the first one in the ranking in Malaysia, for example. Yep.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Vicente. Thank you, Khaled, as well. As you can see here, those are real projects that they were done with CYPE CAD. Okay. If you want, it's like a kind of marketing for your company to show your done projects. So we share them here on public in futures, and everyone can see the projects. Here we have thousands and thousands of projects in this platform of different persons who did them. Thousands, not only hundreds, but thousands of projects. You can go to the BIMserver.center features, as Vicente said, you can see them. So do you have any question?
And there is any limitation in terms of the space in BIMserver.center? So, for example, like Alliance has hundreds of projects, and they may concern about the limitation in the space. So, is there any limitation in BIMserver.center? So it is unlimited, unlimited space, yeah?
Yeah, it's a limited space. The BIMserver.center, the space is unlimited. You can even put 1,000 projects or files there, because sometimes in one project you can find 1 gigabytes or 2 or 3 gigabytes of files. It's very easy, depending, for example, here to the loads. So we put them as unlimited, okay? We don't charge for anything in the cloud.
And how we can use BIMserver.center to share our project and also to collaborate with other parties, other companies, and they can participate on this, and yeah, and also we can trace the activities for a project.
Yes, it's very simple. You have to create an account on the BIMserver.center. It's for free. You put your mail, you put your name, okay, and you put a password. After creating your account, you connect your account here. As you can see now, I connected my account. This is my account here. Okay, so you connect your account. For example, I'm going to connect mine here, as you can see, that I created for free. Okay, so after connecting your account, sorry, I put the password. One moment, sorry. I have to connect from here. After connecting my account, I go to the BIMserver.center. I go to the project selection. I create a new project. If I started the project, because to the cloud we can implant different projects. We even have other parts, not only the structural parts on site. We work as well in the MEP, mechanical, electricity, plumbing. So we can, like Malaysia webinar, for example. Okay, so we can put here the type of the project. Okay, we can choose if our project is visible to everybody or not. Okay, and we can choose the collaboration. We can manage the collaboration of requests to modify our project. Okay, I will put it open, and here we can put a description. Okay, as well. I go here. So every software have different parts to share. For example, for the structural software, I'm gonna need to share a lot of informations, including the results. So anytime you decide to share your project to the cloud, to the colleagues, or to the responsible, to the boss, or to the chef, okay? So you go here and you go to share, and you choose what you want to share. You choose the type of sharing of the columns. You choose if you want to share those parts, share components of the floor slabs, for example. You can even share the reinforcements, so the responsible or the other parts can see the reinforcements on the building directly. You can share the analytical model. You can share the deformed shape, that the displacements, the animated displacement that we saw before. We can see them on the mobile, okay, or on the laptop, on the 3D view, or on virtual reality. We can even put our building on the table, and you can share the quantities, okay? And we just accept to share them on the cloud. Maybe it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take like 5-10 minutes if there is a lot of data. Sometimes you share 200 megabytes of data or 300 megabytes of data, and sometimes you share 1 gigabyte. 1000 megabytes, which is 1 gigabyte of data or more, okay? So this is the way of working on the BIMserver.center. And later you can see it on the cloud. Do you have any other question?
Thank you, Bekir. Actually, this is a, let's say, amazing tool. But my main question is that, you know, once you are at BIMserver.center, so is there possibility to invite any other person to collaborate in a project? And so once a project is going on, so maybe, you know, there is a clashes, or sometimes actually, you know, the development in progress, and then so you need to change, you know, for example, the geometry of the structure, or maybe, you know, the members. So all those changes can be traceable, can be tracked.
Yes, of course. We have different ways to follow our projects on the cloud. Even you get a notification on your phone, okay? So here, for example, this is the project I created. We don't have a 3D view because I didn't share yet. I didn't share the project, but the project is already created. So here we have the recent activity on the dashboard. So we can see that everyone who was doing. Of course, here we have the work team. In this case, it's me, only me, but I can invite a user okay, depending to his name. For example, I don't know, for example, if he's Vicente, or if he's Khaled, or if he's anyone, I can invite him, or I can send. You can see here that I have different persons, okay. I have persons. If I write a number, I get all the possible persons in the list. Or I can copy a link. I can copy a link, and I will send it to a person with a message. And if he click on the link, he will be added, or he will be automatically added to the project. Okay. Of course, if my project is open for collaborations. Okay. In this way, from here, the invitation will be sent to him automatically by mail. He will see it by mail. He will get a notification, because we have an application which is called BIMserver.center on the mobile. Okay. Here we have the different contributions, because we can limit that everyone is working on a part. We can, for example, put 3 or 4 persons working on the structural part. We can put 1 person working on the plumbing, other working on electricity, other working on the architectural part. Okay. Here we have the notifications. Okay. If the different issues, if the notification is solved or not, the requirements. So those notifications can be from here, from the tab of the BIMserver.center and sharing the project. We can add description, but we have a free software which is done for this part, which is that we call the clash detector. The clash detector software. If we go, for example, to search it on the cloud, we can see here that you have OpenBIM model checker. This is model checker, not clash detector, sorry. The model checker is not for free for the moment, because you put all the different buildings together and automatically he will check it for you. But except this software, the model checker, we have the possibilities always to send notifications, to put notifications and see them directly from here. And of course, we can compare the 3D views, the different 3D views of the building. For example, if 2 persons are working in the same building, we have the possibility always to do a comparison. Okay. Any other question?
Great. So it means that so for a project, so all the activities can be controlled over BIMserver.center, and simply the companies can monitor the activities in one single platform.
Of course.
Okay, great.
The good thing in the BIMserver.center, I didn't show you here. Let me go to another project, which is already have some data. The good thing in the BIMserver.center that he can receive different reports. Okay. For example, if 2 persons are working, if I go here to contributions, sorry, I don't have. I'm gonna open an example. For example, this one here. I'm going to show you how I can see all the files. For example, here I have the structural part, okay, for someone. And from the structural part, you can see that I can download from here files, okay. This project is very small. I didn't share a lot of files, okay, but I can download files. So I can download different reports to compare them. And except that, we can compare even 2 3D views in the same time. Okay, so it's directly from the cloud, directly from here. You can you can control all the data, and you can control all what the workers is doing directly from the cloud. Any other question?
So great. I have another question regarding the because you know, the main topic of this webinar and presentation is about the implementation of the Malaysia Wind Annex, and so do we have it in CYPE as well, or for now just we have it in CYPE?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't hear you good.
So right now we have this implementation of the Malaysia Annex for wind load. Only yes. We have right now we have it for CYPE or for both CYPE and CYPE.
No, for the moment we have it on the CYPE, because on CYPE we have another software which is portal frame generator. The CYPE, you know, is a software for steel structures. Okay, we have a very brief software to start the project before doing the steel structure. So this is but only to start the project. Okay, so here in the general data, we can add the wind loading, but this wind loading is only for the steel. Is different. We need different normatives. But here we have, of course, the European Union that it can be used in Malaysia. Okay, but the Malaysian standards that we said that we showed on CYPE, by the way, CYPE 3D is not the software that I opened. Okay, the software that I opened is the portal frame generator to start the project in 5 minutes, because as I said before, CYPE is about productivity and fast working, and then you take it to CYPE 3D. But here on CYPE, we are going to see the wind loading in the reinforced concrete. This code, those normatives, MS 1553/2002, AMD 1/2013, is for the wind on the reinforced concrete buildings. Okay, but of course on the CYPE 3D we always can use the European Union codes. Okay, for example, because Malaysia use a lot some Euro codes, some European codes. For example, here for the concrete, we can see that we have a Euro code that it is used in Malaysia. Okay, so in Malaysia, CYPE, we implemented all the needed codes to use in Malaysia, 100%. So they don't have to worry about the different codes that they are going to use. Even not only for the wind loading, even for the seismic loading, we have the Malaysian standards, but they are not new, of course. We put them for a long time before. Okay, so they can use the Euro code, the static or the dynamic method. They can use a general method as everybody if they don't have themselves on the list. But of course, they have the Malaysian method. You can see that it's very close to the European Union code. Okay, it's very close. We have the two methods. Okay, the dynamic and static methods. We have the type of the soil. It's very close, as you can see here, or it's not the same, but we have differences. We personalize those codes to be different depending to the Malaysians on the reports. Okay, but of course this personalization, if you are going to use the European Union, you can like write it. Okay, so for the CYPE 3D, you can simply, for the wind loading, you can use the European Union codes, and you have to fill those parameters manually, because the implementation of the wind loading in the building, in the project on CYPE 3D is very important, and it's a very big part. So it has to take its time in the project. It has to take its effort, and you have to do it directly there in the software. Okay. Any other question?
From my side, no. Maybe others.
Thank you. It was a very important question. Huh? Thank you so much, Hal.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Tim.
anyone have a question, he can write it directly on the chat. We have the support mail. If you have any question, you can send it to support@CYPE.com. Okay, Vicente will send the details, the different details. If you have any further question about the software, about the other software, about creating an account, about the other softwares, you can contact us as well. You can Google us. You write on Google CYPE company. You will get all the details about it. Okay. This session was recorded. I believe that you can go back to it anytime. Okay. We will share the link to go back to this recording, to this session, if you want to see any detail. Me personally, I am available all the time, so you can send to me your questions, or you can send to me your technical questions, or you can contact the company for other questions, and that's it. I want to ask every one of you for being here, for being interested by the software. It's not like the software is, as I said, it's very productive, and we are always disponible. Okay, so thank you so much for being here, and have a good day.